Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by the Family Forest Carbon Program, where we help family forest owners get paid to improve the health of their woods. Well, the Make America Healthy Again Commission released its first report last week. As Chad Smith tells us, the report contains some troubling assertions.
A new report from the Make America Healthy Again Commission appointed by the White House is causing concern among farmers and ranchers. Sam Kiefer, Vice President of Public Policy for the American Farm Bureau Federation, says the report covers several key issues relevant to agriculture.
There's 4 sections of the report that talk about processed foods, chemicals in the environment, childhood behavior, and medication. But throughout the report, there are positive things said about farmers, but some concerning comments made about the tools farmers use.
Kiefer said the report is often contradictory, criticizing farming practices while claiming farmers are partners.
The report identifies farmers as critical partners, but yet despite several requests to be included in the development of the report, farmers were not invited.
Chad Smith, Washington.
Modern Ag Alliance said the Make America Healthy Again Commission report raises the possibility that the federal government could take a position to restrict farmers' access to crop protection tools, undermine existing science-based frameworks, and ultimately jeopardize the affordability and security of the U.S. food supply. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins is among those talking with federal, state, and local entities in efforts to address mental health challenges in the rural and farm sectors.
Stress at the farm level.
The suicide rate with our farmers is similar to our veterans, and it's stunningly and heartbreakingly high.
Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins recently at a Nebraska event discussing National Mental Health Awareness Month. She said on conversations with Veteran Affairs Secretary Douglas Collins on the matter,
He and I have talked about this. You'll be seeing more on this, and you'll be seeing us rolling things out.
additional efforts in rural and farm level mental health issues are being conducted through USDA, state, and local level collaboration.
We've already put together with our incredible ag commissioners, really working to support the innovative ideas on some of the most important issues facing our farmers and ranchers, and this is certainly one of them.
With the Secretary encouraging submission of rural mental health models and resources from rural citizens and the farm sector. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
President Trump is recommending the implementation of a 50% tariff on imports from the European Union starting June 1. The president said Friday that U.S. discussions with them are going nowhere. Another year-over-year reduction in cattle inventories is reflected in May's Cattle on Feed report.
More tightening of cattle and beef supplies per USDA's latest Cattle on Feed report. Livestock analyst Michael McConnell says for the period ending May 1st,
we have relatively smaller inventories and feedlots relative to a year ago with fewer placements and fewer marketings. That's reflective of the overall tighter cattle situation than what we've seen the past couple of years.
The 11.4 million head of fed cattle and calves placed in feedlots on the 1st of May reflects a 2% year-over-year decrease.
Lower placements reflective of relatively limited supplies of cattle outside feedlots available to come in as feeder cattle, which is also reflecting relatively high prices that we're seeing for feeder cattle as well.
Also directly impacted by less placements, marketings of fed cattle, down from the previous year due to tighter supplies, yet also strong demand, indicated in higher beef steer and wholesale beef prices. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
The markets are next.
Here's the scoop. Soybeans are fueling Ohio's dairy farms, one glass of milk at a time. Nationwide, dairy farms use the equivalent of 229 million bushels of soybeans every year. Plus, high oleic soybeans boost milk fat and yield, making farms more profitable. From the fields to your fridge, soybeans power the farms that feed families. Brought to you by Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Many drugs, like cocaine, methamphetamine, and non-prescription pills, are often cut with dangerous opioids like fentanyl. As a result, nearly 14 Ohioans die daily from unintentional overdoses. That's why it's important to carry naloxone, such as Narcan, a life-saving medication that blocks the effects of fentanyl and other opioids. Over the last 5 years, naloxone has saved over 83,000 lives. Help save lives and visit naloxone.ohio.gov to learn more and find free naloxone. Remember, if you see an overdose occurring, always call 911.
The market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. At the Board of Trade, July corn $4.59.5, down 3.5. December corn $4.50 3/4, down 2.5. July beans $10.60 down 7.25. November beans $10.50.5, down 4 3/4. July wheat down 2 cents at $5.42.5. At the Mercantile Exchange, June cattle $215.80 up 17 cents. June hogs $98.30 down 40 cents. September feeder cattle $299.35 up 72 cents. This is the Ohio AgNet.